Survival Guide to Life, a podcast about how to win in life every second, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, consistently. Hey everyone, we got another episode of Survival Guide to Life, and we have Leslie Logan. She's a Pilates instructor, and her hustle is full time as she jumped from teacher to manager to running multiple studios. She wrote a book that focused on the business of Pilates, which grew into a profitable Pilates.com and is now a business coach. And she created online Pilates classes.com. It includes free online catalog of a variety of tutorials. So when she's not in her Las Vegas travels leading workshops and retreats around the world, you can connect with her on IG at Leslie Logan or Profitable Pilates. So, um, Leslie, what would you say is like the core benefits of Pilates?
Oh, I love this question. The core benefit of Pilates is that it helps you do life better. Like, so that's the number one thing. Under that, why it helps you do life better is it helps immensely with your posture. And I think the more we're in front of our screens, like you and I right now, and then our whole day, we're spent rounded forward with our heads forward. We're on our phones, and Pilates actually helps reverse that position of our spine, which allows us to think better, feel better. We have less aches and pains in our body. Your digestion is better, which means your sleep is better. So by just working on your posture, it actually helps your whole health system work. Pilates also strengthens what's weak and loosens what's tight. And I think that that's really amazing. You don't overwork anything or underwork anything. And it's a full body workout whenever you do it. So for busy people, it's one of the best things you can do because you don't have to think about, oh, I only got one day to go to the gym this week or one day to work out. Well, you can work your whole body out in that one time.
That's awesome. You kind of had me sold with the first 4 to 5 things you've listed, but to someone as like a novice like me, where would you start in trying to like integrate this in your daily routine?
Yeah. So first of all, I don't believe Pilates is something you replace anything you're already doing with. It is an and. So I actually have an intro series, which is only 10 to 15 minutes. And so I recommend finding an intro series that works for you and putting it in front of a strength-based workout you're already doing or a cardio workout you're already doing. It will warm you up. It'll connect you to your center, and it will really allow you to feel your body, and it will make the next workout you have better. And that's with 10 to 15 minutes. Then as you start to understand your body and how you move and then exercises, because I'll be honest, Pilates looks a little weird when you're doing the mat work. It's like laying on the ground and doing weird things with your arms and your legs. Once you have done it a few times, it starts to feel a little bit more natural. Then when you add in more all levels class, and depending on who you take from, whether it's me or someone else, you're looking at 30 minutes to an hour. Then it can be on alternating days of your other strength training practice.
Okay, no, that makes sense. No, um, maybe it might be a silly or question, but I'm just curious, like, what's like the difference between like Pilates and yoga?
Not a silly question. It's probably the most common question that's asked on the internet.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, and also I think people keep asking it because they're not here. Like no one's giving a really good answer, and I hope I give a better one than what I've seen, which is yoga and Pilates are actually just different. And yet there's a lot of things that are the same. So yoga is always done on the mat, and there are a variety of yoga practices you can do. While I do believe that yoga can be a strength training practice, for the most part, people do it for a meditation, for a breath work, for stretching, right? Pilates is done on a mat, but can also be done on equipment. So right there, just the differentiating factors that you could be on what's called a reformer, or I'm sitting on a Cadillac right now. You can't see me at home when you're listening to a podcast, but that's what it's called. And there's different springs and straps that can actually change the exercise and how it feels in your body. When you're on your mat, which can look like yoga, a lot of it is done lying down on your side, on your stomach. Very little of it is done on your feet until the very end. And so, and in Pilates, we're not breathing into our belly like you would in yoga. We actually want to keep our core engaged throughout the workout. Now, when you're done doing Pilates, definitely want you to be able to breathe into your belly and get that breath flowing, but we want you to keep your abdominals engaged, your whole center engaged while you're moving so that you can stay connected from one exercise to the next. It is a movement meditation for sure, because you have to think about what you're doing with your body and get really connected. But as far as a meditative practice, that focuses on the breath, it's got those elements in it. But I would say, as someone who practices yoga, I do the yoga for a very different reason than I do the Pilates. So I would tell anyone who does yoga, you should also do Pilates. Your yoga practice is actually going to benefit from it, because Pilates just helps make everything you're already doing better. But I wouldn't replace your yoga practice with Pilates. I would do it with.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. For me, what I got from that
Good.
was like kind of like say if I started my day, start off, do some yoga, then do some Pilates, as in like the yoga is like the stretch and the Pilates is more like the workout.
Yes, I love that.
So just with that and kind of switching into like a business perspective and executing and launching, a successful online business, um what type of mentality did that take, and how did you do that? Was it something that you kind of had a knack for from the get-go, or you kind of developed through time?
Wow, that's a really good question. I would love to say that I had a knack for going from in person to online and just smooth with tons of grace and patience. But I'll say, for anyone wanting to take their business online, whether you are a fitness instructor or just you, whatever, nowadays you can do pretty much anything online. I think patience is a virtue that takes practice. Confidence, which is also something that's a skill set. It's not something you can go get. It's like it comes with doing. Um, when we started our online classes, I definitely had doubts, like, who am I to do this? Like, why am I the one who's creating this? And like, and will people like it? And what you have to quickly realize is that if you don't believe, then no one believes. So you have to really believe in yourself and what you're doing. And I had to trust that, like, no matter how I'm teaching, whether I'm in person or online, what my message is about what Pilates does for you is the same. And I believe that every single person out in the world should be able to have access to Pilates. Now, if you don't like my teaching, that's okay. There's plenty of other Pilates teachers out there, but Pilates makes you a better human being. It connects you to yourself. And only when you're connected to yourself can you connect more to others. So if I trust what I believe and what I do, then that is a mentality you have to take your business online, because it's not going to be easy. There's going to be days where you're like, yes. And then there's going to be days where you're like, why isn't this working? Wait, why isn't this working? Wait, you mean a plugin changed and now my whole website doesn't work? Like, there's a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't see in an online business, and that are not sexy, and they're not what you want to be spending your time doing. But the more you can trust that, like, your purpose on this planet is to do you and to bring what you have to people, then it helps you get through those really bad days. And then make sure you're celebrating the good ones, because that's what you work so hard for.
You touched on three different components, which I feel are sort of like the ingredients to the recipe of success, as in one is in believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, then who really will? and like only if you believe you can achieve, you know. And then another one was that to just have patience and be able to like be consistent. And like the last one, I would say that like really kind of hit home with me was when you said that there is like, you know, like an ugly side, so to say. Like it's not all like, you know, glamour and glitz, but to just know that and be ready for that too. Like that is what really cultivates like true success. Um so with I'm sure you were doing in person before and like trying to make the pivot towards just all online with the time we're in right now. Have you found with a lot of your clients that they still able to achieve the same amount of success as if they were taking a class in person?
Yeah, that's a great question. We started OPC, onlinepilatesclasses.com, in 2018, early 2018. And with the times that we're in, if you're listening to this in a post-COVID world, lucky you, but we're currently in one. And I think what was really amazing was that it forced people to trust that they could get the same benefits online as in person. And the things that allow my clients specifically to get the same results are actually in just how we set up the program from the beginning. I didn't want people to have choice. When you go to a gym in person, right? You don't know what you're going to get. You just know you're going to go take this person's class. You don't know what they have planned. You don't know the title of the class. You know, I'm on Peloton and I'm scrolling. I'm like, do I want a pop class or do I want a 90s hit class? Like, do I like, I'm trying to make all these decisions. Like, what do I want right now? But when you would go to the gym, do this spin class, you didn't know what they were going to play on their playlist. You just knew that this time and this person worked for you. And so I actually really wanted to emulate that when we started OPC. So from the beginning, you actually only have one class to take for the whole week. And the reason is I actually want you to be held accountable to showing up like you would for in person. I also want you to have the opportunity to really practice Pilates because I believe Pilates is a practice. And when people would come to me in person, depending on their work schedule or mine, they might only get me once a week. But with online, they can actually take class every day. And that's why they're getting more benefits because they have more access without having to have more commute time, more money, right? It's the same price whether you take it once or 7 times. I also wanted people to be able to celebrate their wins in their body. And so if you're only coming in person once or twice a week, you might only remember what you did wrong last time. And then you don't really get to celebrate that. But when you're actually taking online and it's the same class for that whole week, you can actually see, oh, wow, my body moves much better when I get 8 hours of sleep, or oh, actually, I move really great when I do class at night instead of in the morning. You can actually start to get to know yourself more and what makes you work more. And I really want people to be the best version of themselves. It is my life's mission because when you really feel good about who you are and you're strong connected to your body, you're just a better person to other people on this planet. And so in this weird way, I'm using Pilates to help you become the best version of yourself because then it makes everyone better. But I think that where I couldn't do that on in person is that I could only see so many people in a day, in a week, in a year. But with online, we have hundreds of people that are able to have those benefits. And because they can access the class as many times as they want, they're getting more benefits than taking a private with me twice a week and having to have funds and time for that. So a long version to answer your question, while I do miss seeing people in real life, and I do, I'm sure people miss coming to my studio. There was something nice about that. They are seeing more benefits because of the different barriers to entry that have been removed.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I really feel like it was, you know, a lot of people look at it as in something that's negative, but in reality, I feel like it's kind of like unlocked the doors to huge opportunities of scaling a business, as in now you're able to sort of globalize your brand, and more people would want to be doing it. So you might be having a class, and there might be people from London, Chicago, you know, Tokyo.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, we
pretty
have,
cool.
I mean, we have members from 14 different time zones right now. So we've got some in Australia and Poland, and we have people in Malaysia and Bali and the States, Brazil. So it's really cool because before they would only get me in person when I could travel there. And there's only so much travel you can do in a year. And I mean, I definitely pushed the limits on it. We were doing 140,000 miles of travel a year pre-COVID so that we could see people. But the truth is that them having access to me online allows them to not have to wait for that one trip a year or every other year. They can get those benefits in between trips. And then when we come, when we're allowed to do that again, it's going to be that much sweeter because they're already have been practicing their Pilates.
Yeah, no, that's pretty awesome. So just Leslie, on just your opinion in your mind, and like just kind of like where we've transitioned to as like a society in general, and like how we keep going more and more into this like digital like life. And the other day I was like just listening to this video with Elon, and he's trying to make this like crown that you like put in your head. I'm sure you heard about it, like.
I heard about it because I was complaining. I said, I wish my thoughts would just end up on my paper. Like, I wish that they could just translate. And I heard he was doing this, and I was like, do I really want that though? Like, I say I want it, but
Right, I was like, and especially as a fitness instructor, like you probably really kind of notice, as in like we become more lazy. And yes, there's like all these benefits from these technological like advances, but it really comes down to cultivating like a balance with everything. And that's where I feel like everyone really lacks in. But what are some of the things that you do to sort of like find balance with everything that's going on, especially in the times we're in now?
oh, yeah, I think I feel for people. They weren't really taught, at least in the States. I don't remember being taught boundaries and it being okay to use the word no. Right. And so I think a lot of people, the struggle in the lazy, right, in air quotes, is that it's really hard. People are looking for motivation, but motivation is very fleeting. And it's all a practice of like what you value in your life and who you want to be. And so you actually have for me to be me and to show up as myself every day, I have a morning routine that is very special to me that I don't like to miss. And even when we travel, I make sure at least some of it, if not all of it, can happen. I have a nighttime routine that both these routines keep me from being on my phone, on my emails, on my social media for periods of time in the day so that I can actually just like be with myself and ask myself how I'm doing that day. And I think that that's missing in a lot of people's days. And then throughout that, my workouts are scheduled. And this is something that I really try to get through people's heads and with OPC is if you are not in your schedule, then you don't happen in your day. Everybody else happens in your day but you. So your workouts, that's you filling your cup. You're going for a walk, that's you filling your cup. You sitting quietly without your phone turned over, that's you filling your cup. Like you have to be in your schedule. And so I think for me to have balance, I can tell when I'm out of balance is when I looked at my phone after 8 p.m. at night. It's when I brought my phone into the room instead of using my Google Home as an alarm, because then when I wake up, when I grab my phone, the first thing I see is all these notifications, missed calls, all this stuff, right? So I highly recommend everyone grab a calendar, grab a blank one, and like you write in, when do you want to go to bed? When do you want to wake up? When are you going to work out? When are you going to spend time with friends? And if that means that you have noon on Fridays to spend time with friends, when people hang out with you, just say, yeah, noon on Friday, I can do a call, I can do coffee, I can go for a walk. You know, if they're like, oh, I can't do noon, okay, let me know next week. That's hard to do, but like, if you aren't in control of like when is the best time for you to show up for others, it really does challenge your energy and it pulls you away from your purpose. And then that makes you feel like you're not you in your day. So I just say, challenge you, grab a blank calendar, make sure you're in it, and then put the other things in there. And it does mean I say no to a lot of things, but I also, when I say yes to things, I'm fully there. I'm not thinking about where else I need to be right now. I get to be in that moment. And that is what I think balance is.
That's awesome. I like that. And it goes back to just like these key factors that keep getting played over and over, I would say, in my head, coming from all different angles, as in, like, okay, pay attention to this. These are like key components of like the way you should be conducting your day-to-day life. And did you always now, like, say towards the end of the day, like really just ask yourself, like, okay, how did my day go, and like what did I do good, and like what kind of would I do differently, or did that not come with time?
I think gosh, I wish I had been raised to do this because I think I would have spent a lot less days crying and frustrated and exhausted and overwork and stress. But I also think that I had to go through burnout and stress and frustrations so that I could sit here and sit in front of every client that we have online and be able to say, I get that you're busy. I get that you're stressed out. I promise you, if you implement these things, schedule your workouts in, have a nighttime routine, sleep, um, you will have a better day tomorrow. And the only reason I can say that is because I was them. And sometimes when I'm not practicing my boundaries, I step back into that. And I it actually took a lot of years of health issues from not listening to my body to force me to go, okay, how much sleep do I need? How do I get the best sleep? Then like, okay, how can I fine tune this even more? And so even with COVID, I've been able to fine tune even more how I structure my day. So at the end of the day, I can actually go, it was a good day. No matter how frustrating the day was, it was a good day because I showed up for myself today. I was able to do things for other people, and it's 6 p.m. at night and we're done, you know? And I think that there's always going to be something on your to-do list that's going to get pushed to tomorrow and again to tomorrow. And things don't always happen in the time we want them to, but they happen when they're supposed to. And if you can make sure that you're taking care of you, then when your dreams come true, because they will, you'll be able to see that and you'll be able to recognize that and you'll be able to sit there and go, that was a good day. But if you're tired, exhausted, stressed out, forcing things, pushing yourself to the limits and not taking care of yourself, you won't notice when those good things happen because you won't be present. You'll be too tired to even enjoy them. And so yeah, I get if you're listening to this going, wow, life's easy for her. Not at all. It's totally not. But I just really try to practice the things that make me feel good at the end of the day so that I can show up again tomorrow, because it's a long game. Working for yourself, online work, whether you if you work for somebody else and you're just have personal goals, all of them are long games. Nothing happens when you snap your fingers just because you want it to.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. As in, like, success is like a long journey, and it's not for the faint of heart. You have to be there for the long run, and just really having a resilient mindset. Now, if you could say there was really like an aha moment, but like what kind of led the change from, let's say, if there was a destructive lifestyle or like a not cognitively healthy aware lifestyle, from okay, let me try Pilates and let me take this as a career.
Oh, yeah, that I kind of fell into Pilates. I was just ending, like, just finishing up college, and I was running a high-end jewelry store in Orange County, California, in South Coast Plaza. And it was such a fun job, to be honest. But I wasn't very happy and I didn't know why. Now, looking back, I just didn't have purpose. Like, I had a great job, but that paid my bills, but it wasn't what I wanted to be doing. And so I think that I was looking for something because I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. I was like, is this all there is? And my friend invited me to take a Pilates class, and I made fun of it. I said, Pilates is like an infomercial workout. It can't do what they say it's going to do. But I also was looking for more friends. And if you are feeling lonely in this world, you have to go do shared experiences with people to build friendships. Like, that's how you get friends. And so I was like, I'll go with you because, why not? And we'll go have coffee afterwards or whatever. And in that first exercise, I felt something in Pilates that I didn't feel in anything I'd ever done. And I was an athlete before this. So, like, I was a runner and a track runner. And here I was at the end of my college career, and I still had my freshman 20 on, and I just was not feeling myself. And in that moment, I could feel things in my body that I never felt before. So when I talk about connection to yourself, that is what I felt in that first class. And I changed my whole schedule around so that I could go to Pilates every single day. And then I moved from from Orange County to LA. And I was really struggling to find a teacher that wasn't trying to be an actress. And what ends up happening, like, once I became a teacher, I realized that there's a ton of teachers in LA and a ton of them who don't want to be actresses. But like, what I was finding back in 2008, guys, when the internet, like, social media was not what it is, people are not using it to post. I have a class over here. And I met someone who said I should teach it. And I thought, okay, I'll teach Pilates to pay for my Pilates. Like, that's what I thought. Because I had this career, I had this job. I was running a high-end boutique. And at that time, I transferred to the LA location. And I had a salary job with vacation time and health insurance and all the things. But if you know the dates, it's 2008 and it was a recession. And I ended up actually getting busier teaching Pilates than retail. And so I left my retail job during a recession to do this service-based business, because I had so much enthusiasm and passion for it. I was too busy to do both jobs. And so I had to leap and just go full into teaching. And so I basically became a teacher to kind of feed my own obsession with Pilates to pay for it. And it became this career. And now, to me, my whole, like, Pilates is what I use to help people take on whatever it is they want to do with their lives. Like, I know it sounds weird, like how workout can't make you a better boss, but it can. It really can, because when you connect to yourself, you can connect more to others. And so I didn't have this destructive lifestyle necessarily, but it wasn't the life I wanted to live. And so because I was searching for something, that's how Pilates found me.
Okay, that's great. No, like I meant like as in destructive, as in not being 100% to your top self. You know what I mean? Like then you're destructive, as in you're not doing justice to your full potential.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, well, for sure, because when I was running a store, I was good at it, but it was never my dream. My dream wasn't to, like, run a jewelry store or manage people. Um, and I've always just wanted to make people feel better. So, and yes, jewelry and purses can make people feel really good in the moment. But I think that what drew me so much to Pilates and made me realize that that was, like, the path I was supposed to go, was just how it made me feel every time I hit my mat. And I wanted other people to feel that way. It does more than like a new purse.
I guess that's like sort of like me in a way with like Brazilian like jiu-jitsu, as in like that feeling on the mat. But it's really hard right now with the times we're going in. But like I'm really interested in, like starting and trying Pilates and, trying to really hone in on the benefits that it has.
So you do jujitsu? That's amazing. I think you'd love Pilates because, especially the mat practice. First of all, it was designed by a man for men. So even though ladies do it, it doesn't bulk you up, which for jujitsu, you have to be limber. You got to be able to get those moves. And if you hit the mat, you got to be able to get out of it. But you also have to be super strong because some of those guys are really big. So, and what I used to teach a ton of athletes pre-COVID, and the reason they came to me for Pilates is I helped their body not get injured, because Pilates doesn't want you to be super flexible. It also doesn't want you to be so strong that you're tight. You have to be an equal balance of strength and stretch in every single exercise so that you can prevent injury. So when you are on the mat doing your moves in jiu-jitsu, your shoulders are actually connected to your back and you're moving from them, and you're not actually doing anything from a place that could damage a muscle or tear a ligament. And so I especially think the mat work you would love, just because it is a routine that you can do, and you can do it to warm up for your jiu-jitsu. You could do it as a cool down version, but it really does allow you to move your legs and your arms from your center and not from like your joints.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and that really makes sense in aspects of like injury and really being able to condition your body and able to come in and day out, giving 100, as well as giving due diligence to recover your body. So I could totally see Pilates being essential as in that aspect. And with what you were saying in proponents to like your shoulder and your back, I think not only in that, and if you look at it in any aspect, especially basketball, I feel like that's really probably what goes into most of these players who are getting injured, to players like say LeBron James, who's like been very strong and hurt. Like it goes back to what you do, and I think if more athletes probably included Pilates in their daily routine, they'd only benefit. So, is there
Yeah.
any like way you have for people to who've never done Pilates to like kind of like step into one of your classes or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah. You all can. It's an all levels class. So just know that if it's hard and you're new, then definitely check out my intro series. It's 3 classes that never disappear. But a free class you can try is onlinepilatesclasses.com/free. And when you sign up for it, we'll give you access to a free mat. And I believe you also get a free reformer class. If you don't have a reformer, don't worry. It's just going to sit there. You don't need to use it. But we do have a lot of people who, because of COVID, are buying reformers for their homes and lots of other things. So onlinepilatesclasses.com/free. And you can get a free 30-minute mat class, and take it a few times, watch it, see how it goes. I'm a big proponent of just keep moving. So if any exercise is out of your league today, you do anything we've already done, because the beginning of the mat, all of those exercises, all you're doing towards the end is combining them. So, so maybe in the beginning, we just lifted our head and chest halfway off the ground. Towards the end, you're lifting it all the way off the ground. But you can go back to doing the first version, the easier version for you, when we're doing something hard, because it's just repetition of getting stronger. And so we have a lot of people who are newbies who take our all levels classes. And when there's an exercise their body can't do yet, they do something we've already done that their body needs, and they keep moving. And your body, one, learns endurance to keep moving for 30 minutes. And in time, the muscles are like, oh, you want me to do what? Like you have to remember, how often do you try to go from standing to sitting on the floor without using your hands? I bet many people are like, I don't think I've ever tried to do that. Well, the important thing about that is there's actually studies that show that if you can go from standing to standing without using your hands, you live 30 years longer than anyone who has to like go on their knees, touch a chair, pull themselves up. If you every time you have to touch something to stand back up from the floor, it takes years off your life. So what we're going to try to do in those classes is go from standing to sitting. And if you can't today, that's okay. You go as low as you can go and then take yourself down. We do the whole workout and then we stand back up again and we try to do it without our hands. And in time, that's our goal, right? That's what every exercise is helping you do. So you just do what you can and you go, that was good enough for today, and be proud of yourself for that.
Dude, that's really awesome. What can you just repeat that one more time for people who didn't really listen, like want to just um pull
Sign
in
up
on
right
that
away.
essence? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So no, with you said if you're able to stand up and go down without touching
Oh,
anything, what's the benefit?
yeah. So if you're standing up right now,
Yeah.
um, you try to sit all the way down on the floor without using your hands. Most people can't. They get their knees are too tight, or their back is too tight, or their hamstrings are too tight, and they get stuck. And so then they've used their hands, or they fall to one side, right? I mean, like you can even practice this the next time. This is really gross, maybe to some people, but when you go to sit on a toilet, do you lower yourself all the way down to the toilet, or do you drop that last inch? Do you do that? That is a sign that you can't lower yourself to the floor. Then to stand back up again, um, like you push your feet into the ground and you just stand all the way up, be like a really deep squat. A lot of jujitsu people probably can because they spend a lot of time in deep flexion. But most people spend so much time in their chairs. They never have that deep flexion. They don't have the strength around it. So they literally need to like come onto their knees and then grab a chair and like lift themselves up.
Yeah.
And so my challenge to you is like try that. And if you can't do it, don't freak out. Just know that your lifespan is being shortened because you are not challenging your body to move in those deep flexions and extensions. Like when we were born, we like back in the thousands of years ago, we chased like we were running away from tigers and bears and all these things. And now because we don't go hunting and we don't run from animals that are trying to kill us, we just sit around and binge out on TV. And so young people are really old in their bodies actually. And I can't believe I have we moved to Las Vegas and we have a handyman, and he was doing some work and he's like, oh, my back is aching. And I was like, oh yeah, well, it happens with the work that you do. And like as I get older, and he's like, yeah, I just turned 30. Now, y'all, I'm 37. So I looked at him and I was like, you're only 30? No, unacceptable. Unacceptable. Your body should not be aching at 30. And my husband showed him how he can lay on the ground and roll up to sitting with his legs staying on the ground. And he was like, I can't even get out of bed. Right. So, y'all, your bodies are not meant to feel old. They're meant to feel pliable. And you need to be strong in your body to do life, just to do life in general. So I highly recommend that you get Pilates in your body, because then you can practice going from standing to sitting just in the exercise itself. We spend a lot of time on our backs, bringing our knees all the way into our chest, stretching our legs all the way out, bringing them all the way in. Why is that? Because if you can't do it lying on your back, then it's really hard to do it standing up. So yeah, that's the study, and that's my challenge for everybody.
No, that's pretty cool because I always kind of like try to tell people like, yo, you should be able to do this, but I really didn't know the value of it. So right when you said that, it kind of was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. But with that, it just had me think as in Pilates is just so multi beneficial because like I kind of b-boy on the side, and just with breakdancing like just being able there's this move, it's called a kip up, where you're on your back and you from the ground sort of like jump back into your feet. I'm
Oh
sure
yeah, I've
you've
seen
seen it.
that.
Yeah.
That's so fun. Yes. Yes. Can you
So
do that?
yeah, so like or like there's another one, it's called a air chair, where you're kind of like a one-legged chair on the side of your body. So I and then like you're just on one
That's so
arm.
cool.
So I could
Yeah.
totally see Pilates as a good way, as in conditioning your body to be able to take those weird turns and twists.
Yeah. I mean, so Joseph Pilates said in his book, Return to Life, you're only as old as your spine is young. And if you like feel your movements, like a lot of people round their back by pulling their shoulders forward. Well, you didn't round your spine, you just pulled your shoulders forward. You just put them in a very precarious spot. But to actually like round through your spine, then a lot of people get stuck in their lower back. It's so tight. They actually can't roll through that. Then extension, right? Extension is another way your spine's supposed to go. And so many people, they extend from their neck or they extend in their lower back, but they don't extend in their upper back between their shoulder blades or just below their shoulder blades. And like if you've been to a chiropractor and they crack, they adjust that spot, it feels like such a release. But the reality is that your back should bend there, should actually bend there, and not because you made wrinkles and not because you became a Pez dispenser, right? You got to do it from your upper back. And then side bending, most people just fall to the side. But the actual idea is that you have two sides of your body get as long as possible, excuse me, as you go up and over to the side. And then twisting is another one. And most people turn. Watch people at the grocery store. When they grab something from the shelf and they put it in their cart, most of them will just turn their whole body. But you could be at the shelf and twist and put it in there, right? And so older people, the first thing they lose in their spine mobility is twisting, and twisting is so healthy for us. It's so good for our digestive system. And the last one is a tall back, which is when you're sitting in your chair, you should be in a tall back. Most people are slouching. So those are the 5 spine shapes in Pilates, and those are the ones we work in every single class that I teach online. And the goal is so that your spine can be malleable.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely need to probably start implementing this, as my grandfather kind of had a spine problem, and then my mom has scoliosis, and then I myself was in a car accident, and I kind of like had a really bad rotator cuff injury, and my
Ugh.
right shoulder is kind of like lower than my left.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is your entire body and your fascial lines go uneven. And so they cross. So you could have a right shoulder injury and then like a left hip injury or then a right knee injury. And like it kind of um, crisscrosses the body. And the more you work your body muscles to connect, the beautiful thing is you lose those asymmetries.
Mm. So yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna sign in on that 30-minute free class, and try to get that going. And I want to give you kudos for landing that domain name. Very effective. Yeah,
Yeah, my team found that it was just sitting there available.
it's like kind of like right. Leslie Logan, everyone.
So sorry.
No, no, you're okay. So just coming towards the end, just coming towards like the end, and I always ask, speakers, if there's been sort of a quote or just like maybe something you've read recently that's kind of been like resonating with you, to like end on that, and also all your social handles in how anyone can connect with you.
Ooh. Um, I I wish that there was someone else to quote, but right now what's been resonating with me, what I've been really trying to practice in myself, and because I preach it all the time, is you have to give 100% to yourself so you can give more to others. And if you don't, you end up resenting people. If you think about a cup of water and it's only filled halfway, you can only give away half the water. You have to fill your cup so that you can be there for your family, for your friends, for your business, for your coworkers, for this planet, right? We're all in this together. So I would just ask yourself every single day, like, what did I do for myself today? Self-care isn't selfish. And that's something that like I'm really trying to live by and try to get other people to really believe in, and that I would hope to see in other people. I didn't really grow up seeing people put themselves first. They said you have to put other people's first, right? Like other people have needs, and the truth is that the airplane says put your own air mask on first. So we got to do that. Um, Social handles, you can find me and everything Pilates at leslie.logan on Instagram. If you have business stuff that you want to really nerd out on, I'm on Profitable Pilates on Instagram. So we have two. And then if you want to take Pilates, learn more about Pilates, onlinepilatesclasses.com. Super easy URL. And that's why we call it OPC. And our fans and our members like to go into OPP, and they go, yeah, you know me.
Yeah, I
So,
was just gonna say that. That was
oh
funny.
yeah, oh yeah. So we are all about the OPC.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
So thank you so much for these amazing questions. They're really beautiful, and I hope that everyone listening got something out of it today.
no, I'm sure they did. I wanted to thank you for your time, and then also if you were interested, just to invite you maybe sometime in the near future to do like a Instagram live work, uh, fundamentals of Pilates workshop, and then I could,
Oh, let's do it. That would be so fun.
yeah, so maybe we can like coordinate on a date, just for people who are getting started, and then I could market it for you as well. I have like 10,000 connections on LinkedIn, so I could put it on there and it'll be good.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. My biggest thing is that people at work do Pilates. So let's do it.
Okay, awesome. And then I'll make a promotional banner and I'll send it to you, as well as send you the video when it's done.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Especially the part where tears drying down my face.
Oh no, yeah, don't worry, I'll edit that.
I was like, oh, it's almost the end. Yeah, anything you want us to promote and post, we love sharing the podcast that we get to be on, because um everybody asks such great questions, and what you ask will resonate with someone who's been sitting there thinking, oh, maybe I'll do that now.
Yeah,
So it's really important to we love to promote other people and what they're doing. So thank you for having me, and I can't wait to do that live with you. It would be amazing.
yeah, likewise. Have an awesome rest of your day, and thanks for your insight. I learned a lot from this little.
Oh, great. I mean, I'm not kidding. Great questions. I really enjoyed the questions you asked me today.
I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.